welcome to 100x Engineering. I'm your host, Carter Hesterman, and this is my co-host. I'll let you introduce yourself.
Carson Culp. I've been on one other time as a guest, but I'm filling in as a host today.
With some badass sunglasses. Are those Pit Vipers?
These are $5 things I bought on Amazon.
Oh, please send me the link because I definitely could use like those. I could either buy $100 pair of glasses or $25 pair of badass glasses.
So what I did, these ones are transition. So when I go out, these ones have the soft transition on them and they look pretty good.
Those are sick. So you might have noticed I was holding a spoon, brandishing my favorite spoon. This is Carter's peanut butter spoon. Established 2013 because Carter has a problem where he eats peanut butter straight out of the jar and then leaves the spoon out on the counter. And turns out people that live with Carter don't like that because I use the spoon multiple times a day. So I've publicly
I love passive aggressive gifts.
Just happy Christmas, Carter. Merry Christmas. Here's a spoon that you can use so that you don't use all the spoons when we put them away in the dishwasher. Anyways, welcome to 100x Engineering, the show where you learn not how to be a 1x, 10x, 11x engineer, but 100x engineer. The skills, precepts, principles, concepts, soft skills, gaming skills that you need in order to succeed in your career. And most importantly, do what 100x engineers do best and help everyone else succeed and let everyone know why you should succeed. Did I do that well enough? That was all.
I'm pretty well convinced.
Okay, cool. Those procedurally generated using a neural net or random forest. We're going to be talking about data science today, so I brushed off on my words. Carson, can you tell us why you're not Drew? Where's Drew?
I'm not Drew because Drew is out on a vacation. Believe it or not, I guess somebody, maybe his boss, let him take one.
You know, he had to twist my arm a little bit. He had to shave his mustache, but I authorized Drew to even miss a 100x engineering episode, which that's a big swing. So round of applause for Carson for joining us today. Super happy. Carson was more than willing to jump in, and Carson is probably the only person on the planet I would trust with the reins to be co-host on 100x Engineering other than Drew Johnson. Sick burn to everybody else on my team. Just kidding.
Wow.
As well. Let's see. This is where we talk about banter topics for like 30 seconds, but I feel like we've already kind of gone there. I like looking for a natural way to like tell everyone, like, guys, I crowd surfed this weekend. I did a wall of death and I got involved in like a crazy mosh pit. There's not like a natural way to be like, speaking of $5 sunglasses, did I tell you I was at a crazy concert where people almost died? But
people sometimes wear sunglasses at concerts, so maybe you could have drawn the line. I
saw some sunglasses that were not $5 at this instrumental metal concert, Polyphia. And they split everyone in half for the encore, and they told everyone when the beat drops, just smash into each other. And I was like on the front row there, and I was like,
that seems like a health risk. No,
I'm gonna get behind my friends here who were bigger than me and go happy bachelor party, have fun. Yeah, it was crazy.
No, I haven't heard about a mosh pit for a while. The last time I've been in a mosh pit was at Vans Warped Tour.
That's an appropriate place.
So that's been. Well, I got talked into going. I'm not a big Warped Tour person, so that year Katy Perry was at Warped Tour, and I got talked into going. So of course, like I brought myself over to Katy Perry.
Absolutely.
And then there was a mosh pit. There was a mosh pit that year for Katy Perry.
Yeah, I'm not the same after going through that. I was like, I feel like I'm a lot younger than I actually am. I was like somewhere in my mid-30s. But yeah, it was fun. A lot of small people there that were younger than me. Anyways, is it time for us to introduce our guest? I think we've kept them waiting.
I think it is.
I think they're probably getting tired with their intro. Let's give a round of applause for a dear friend of mine, an excellent employee at FinThrive, the data science, the man, the myth, the legend, the man who can deadlift a steel refrigerator, double door, as well as 20 watermelons within the refrigerator. William Coy, Billy, give a round of applause. There we go.
Oh, hey.
Oh, Billy.
What's up? You got me in a workout.
This is so, for those that don't know, we use an app. I don't know if we can say what it is because it's free marketing for them, so you'll have to guess which app it is we're using. But we talked about, Billy, you can like lift a weight when you come in here. He's like, I'll lift a weight when I come in. So I was like, just get ready. You'll know the time. And then I think my intro for you took a little longer than you expected because you hoisted it up there pretty early.
Well, I hoisted it there, and I was like, "Here we go!" Like they're gonna give it to me, and I was like, "Do I press it or do I not press it?" I was like, and then the big reason why is you can see this fan right here, and if I threw a 55-pound dumbbell up there and it clipped the fan, my wife would kill me.
Oh yeah.
And your intro for your sunglasses should have been, "Man, Carson, those look like sunglasses you would wear to a 1980s rock concert." Speaking of rock concert, and then your segue happened. See, you just got to know your data, and then you got to be able to know your story.
There you go. That's a great segue into like the topic for our show. But I want to give like some like fun facts about Billy before we do that. Normally I'd ask guests to do this themselves, but I want to like share a few things, and I'll give you like 30 seconds to give the elevator pitch for William Coy. But yeah, Billy is an Olympic lifter, powerlifter. For those
the difference for those that are like, what the heck's the difference? Olympic lifting focuses in this clean and jerk and the snatch. Powerlifting is the iron triathlon or the squat, the bench, and the deadlift.
I had no idea. Carson, did you know that?
Now, are you a CrossFitter too? I did know that.
No.
I've heard that Billy likes CrossFit.
You know, Carter, you know me well enough that I do not CrossFit. I am initially like, I wasn't impressed by the movement of CrossFit, but I've come around to be like, wow, there's a lot of good things coming out of CrossFit. Would I ever do CrossFit? No, because I'm a fat powerlifter, and we lift heavy things, put them down, walk away, get 15 minutes before our next set.
I have in bold on the notes here, talk about Billy's love for CrossFit, because Billy did not speak that highly of CrossFit on our prep call. You're just making me look like an ass here, Billy.
No. So there's three siblings in the world of there's four siblings in the world of weightlifting. There's the Olympic weightlifters, the bodybuilders, the CrossFitters, and the powerlifters, and we lovingly pick on each other all the time. Secretly, we all believe that the weightlifters, the powerlifters, and the bodybuilders are better than the CrossFitters, because we're like, you guys came along, you don't even focus on weightlifting. Like, you guys do strongman stuff, but you don't do strongman stuff, and then you do some powerlifting, but you don't do powerlifting. And so it's fun to pick at it, but the best explanation I've ever heard was, if you're good at a lot of things, CrossFit's your sport. Versus and so I mean, we pick on CrossFit because it's fun to poke at each other.
Oh yeah,
but
it's easily got the biggest cult mentality, I would say, of all of them.
Have you seen Apple users? I mean, I don't know if you want to do that, but Apple users are pretty.
From our Macs here, but yeah.
I'm on a PC. I'm on a Microsoft device, so I can throw that out.
So we're gonna come back to that also. Yeah, let's put a pin in that one. We'll unpack that later to use the cyber therapy phrase, our sister or brother podcast. The next question that I want us to ask you is, Billy, what do you do? But we're gonna pause that really quick. Carson, can you give a brief introduction to our game? I'm throwing you on the spot here, but I'm really curious to hear how somebody would describe it.
Well, the game is like, I think it's a remake of an old game, Sonic Racing. Yeah. So, except the controls are a little bit different. So there's like two modes. It's like walk mode and then run mode. So I don't know what kind of other features are available in it besides
I think that's pretty much it.
I think that's it.
Yeah, this is off-brand Sonic is what I've been calling it all week, because that's clearly not Knuckles. High-res Knuckles right there. So we're going to have our video producer drop the link in the channel here so you all can join us here. Arrow keys navigate, and W key will make you act like a car, is the way I saw it described. But it speeds you up, and then space bar is jump. You can double jump as well. For those of you joining, click Race Online, join game, and then look for Sonic 920, I think is the...
that would be correct. Yep.
That is the lobby that you'll be joining.
That is the lobby. Yep.
So we'll give this a couple minutes, and then I'll start the game. And yeah, buckle up because it's
Not that I was playing in the back while you guys were introducing, but I was
I see
practicing.
someone jumping on a trampoline over
Yeah,
here.
I think that Carter, you've practiced too, haven't you?
I definitely don't
underprepared.
relish in the fact that I'm like kind of paid to play crappy video games now. It's the dream I had as a first grader, let me tell you. When I grow up,
Yeah,
video
every first
games
graders.
on a live stream. So that before we get going, we'll let a couple people come in here. I see a couple people join. Billy, what do you do when you're not
I
playing?
am currently the manager of the Solutions Analytics group in our Solutions Services organization. Solutions Analytics is really fancy for data analytics and data solutions.
Mm-hmm.
And so I manage our data team, our analytics team, to help clients understand the story behind their data and to help them navigate the what next and essentially find the needle in the haystack that makes their business work effectively.
You work at JupiterOne?
I do not work at JupiterOne.
Not yet.
And not
Not yet.
Noted.
Step one to getting a job at JupiterOne is beat Carter at a game on 100x engineering. Then, if you wanted to
well, considering you, okay, then, I mean, all right.
Just kidding. I have to tread lightly with that, lest I accidentally wrote myself into something legally that I could get sued for. I don't think that's
yeah. I know it's a joke, but somebody listening may be like, "Wait, no, he totally beat you."
If you see Hester2 in the lobby and you wallop me, send me a message on Twitter and we can chat. I'll have a free interview.
There you go.
Cool. So where do you work if not at JupiterOne?
I work at FinThrive. It's a revenue cycle group in the healthcare industry where we help our clients understand their end-to-end processes for the revenue cycle. So patient schedules with the doctor, we start recording it, and then we help our clients understand this is how you're going to get paid, and this is where to start thinking about collections and how do you work with the patient and how do you work with payers and help the providers bill appropriately and all that fun stuff. So it's
so nothing to do with like medical charts or
no
NLP, anything like that.
Mostly, so I've worked in that arena and I like that arena, but this company strictly focuses on more of the financial side versus the provider diagnostic side.
Well, that's probably nice because it's like cleaner data, maybe?
Sometimes it's not, because you're dealing with finances and people who have to like code. And so you're dealing with stuff that's already been kind of handled once, maybe twice. And so it can get really...
It's already been kind of sanitized and cleaned up a little bit.
And so if something goes wrong, you have to go back and be like, I need the raw file. And then sometimes the raw file doesn't look like the sanitized file. And then you begin to wonder, who sanitized the data and why.
Is there any sort of like...
Well, by the time it comes...
like coding, you have like git blame, right? So it's like, I know who did this, but is there any way to like track that? And
No. So typically what we do is we essentially we work with the clients to get their data. And so we don't go into, we don't like go in and do any cleaning. We just get their data and then our process.
I have to compliment both of you guys, by the way, metagaming here a little bit, but you guys are both talking really well while playing the game. Like, that's pretty rare. And like, students like, I can't do this and talk at the same time. But like, both of you.
Well, mostly because I bet we don't care. We're just like running around. We're like, this conversation.
Barely moving.
I'm not talking, and I've run off the stage like 5 or 6 times because I can't get through this damn loop.
So one question I have for you. So my partner is a data researcher, I think, or data scientist. What is the difference between those two things, like data analysis, data research?
So I guess that one's a little bit interesting. Data science is more of more. It's evolved into more of like machine learning, and how do you develop things to how do you develop processes to get them into production. So if I'm running a process where I'm trying to predict a specific outcome, and then put it into production, a data scientist typically would jump on that. A data scientist would also look at the data and try and develop interesting hypotheses to say, hey, these are things that we just don't know about. And then a data analyst would jump in to try and start testing those hypotheses. A data analyst is also a storyteller to help the client really understand, like, this is what your data is really saying. They visualize it. They help them understand the story, point A to point B. They understand statistics, but it's not like their main focus. Whereas machine learning and data science, your world is that aggressive mathematics, computer science, trying to get everything into production.
I had no idea about that. That was a really good question, Carson.
Can you say Carter to yourself? You try to give yourself credit for that one.
Wow,
Carter.
Wow, Carter.
Was that a Carter question? No,
taking credit for Carson. Wow.
I will have you know that Carson is like, when people can't remember my name, Carson is what they always call me, for the record.
Well, my grandpa called me Carlton until he passed away, so I'm used to getting called the wrong name.
I just imagine you doing the Carlton dance.
It's like, sure. So you're talking a lot about like analysis of things. What kind of tools like are available in that whole sphere? Because you're kind of relying on these tools to be like the source of truth, it sounds like.
Right. So like in the world of analytics, and you're talking about data analytics, the three bread and butter tools are SQL, Excel, and some sort of visualization tool. Because a lot of times when you're doing data analytics, it's storytelling, it's digging in, trying to like really mine the data, figure out what's there. When you start getting into the statistical analysis and you're beyond descriptive analyses, and you're getting into more predictive, more prescriptive analytics, that's when tools such as R and Julia and Python start to arrive, where you start using more of the statistical methods and machine learning approaches to really start to define what outcomes are there.
That's interesting. I'm obligated to ask you these questions, but have you ever like heard of a random forest?
Yes.
Have you been there?
Have I ever been in a random forest?
Through a random forest before?
Have I? Say that one more time. I'm trying to decide.
Here, let me ask a different one. Have you ever logged into the neural network?
You know what? I haven't, but I've heard it's much like the Matrix. So if I can be like Neo, then let's do it.
Have you ever had K as your nearest neighbor?
You know what? No, but I've tested T a lot. So
I didn't know that was a thing you could do.
And when people, for those that are listening, there's a statistical method called the t-test. And so.
Okay, well done. I clearly like only learned like 3 buzzwords that I could ask you about. I was like, I know the correct way to ask about these things. Okay, here's an interesting question. So we've interviewed for like data science positions a lot, and like data analysts, and things of that nature. And I'm blind to this because I'm not in this side of the industry, but like we have people who like, oh yeah, they like actually had no idea what they were talking about. How, if I'm like a in your position and if you're interviewing for that role, how can you tell if like somebody is like essentially doing what I just did, just like throwing crappy buzzwords out, or like they actually like are worth their salt? Like what is the differentiator between like that person in an interview? Does that make sense?
It does. So it's the second layer of questions that defines everything. So
like you've wandered through the random forest, like
so it's like, hey, I ran a random forest and this is what I did. And the next question would be, oh, really interesting. What features did you add? Like, why did you choose those specific features? What led to that? And a lot of times, for some people that are like, oh, well, I just run this random forest, and then you ask them, like, why did you choose these features? They're just like, well, I just kind of threw it out, or that's what looked good. And it's like, like there's more to it than that, where, you know, for those that understand what's there, they've done some sort of test or visualization to show that this specific field this specific feature has some sort of impact on the outcome variable. So you know that, hey, there's something here. Let's try to use it in the model to get something to go. Another really interesting way to kind of catch somebody is ask them to build a dashboard. So in data analytics, visualization is king. And so if you get stuck, if you want to see somebody's chops, the first thing you do is you ask them to build a dashboard and can you visualize this? Because what they'll do
like is a Jupyter notebook type thing?
Like a Tableau dashboard or a Power BI dashboard mode, something to where they have to basically present a story, and essentially just like the screen to say, this is what I found. Here's some filters that I built. These are some really cool things I found. And I've had some people that have presented dashboards that they're like, these are great. And then you look at like you're no, like, stop. you used an index to predict an outcome, and there's just like things in there that if you know what you're doing, it's really easy to get to the solution. But if you struggle with it, you get lost in the weeds really quick and you start wasting time.
That's interesting. We have similar questions on the engineering side for like our interview process of like, I'll ask, actually, should I even reveal these? I was gonna say, like, I have questions I'll ask about like TypeScript. That's like, if you've worked with TypeScript longer than like 18 months, you should be able to answer this question.
Yeah.
Well, if you haven't, like, I wouldn't expect you to be able to answer it if you know, for like a junior or mid-level engineer who hasn't worked.
Right. And it's like, if we're interviewing for a more senior position, then obviously we're gonna go a little bit easier on the visualization, but I'm gonna go a lot harder on the statistics side, because I expect that if you're a more senior, more calibrated data analyst, you have the skills to do data viz. I'm interested in, can you do something beyond the viz now?
Got it.
Can you present a business scenario to say this is what's impactful now, instead of, hey, here's a pretty picture, here's the story, okay, now what's next? You've shown me where I'm at, you've shown me where I'm going, what's my business case moving forward?
Is there ever a situation where like maybe two different people have done analysis and come to different conclusions?
Oh yeah. And typically what that boils down to is somebody misunderstood something else, or somebody included something that the other person didn't. So they have an extra dimension of in their methodology that the other didn't include. And so it's not unheard of. And then there's also the times that they've both used the same data set and they have not understood. One person understands the data really well, and then the other has no clue what is in the data and is brand new to the data set. So there's all sorts of things that are going on.
Interesting. I think I'm close to the ending, by the way. I don't know if I'm going.
I don't think I finished a lap. I think I'm maybe half.
I don't know if there are laps. I hope there's not. Like, I just want it to be done. I think I see it. I'm gonna
this is when you get on with the this is when you get on with the monitoring, with the game mods for things like I'm looking at Minecraft and say like we need like a world record stuff for this. Like show us what we got to do. So
yeah. Shoot, I was spectating and now it won't let me spectate. Yeah, 30 seconds until it kicks you out, and we got to do a different level.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm glad you guys finished because I
finished. Don't give Carson credit.
I did not finish.
Well,
No.
that just means that I don't get the interview because you beat me. So
there you go. I'm safe. Thank heavens. Woo. Okay, so the title of this episode is let me see, actually. Tyler, what's the title of this episode? No, the title of this episode is Do Data Scientists or Data Analysts Use Notepad++ like the rest of us? Here at JupiterOne, we're a Notepad++ shop. We also strictly use Netscape. Do you guys use Notepad++?
sometimes it depends on if we're using. It depends on the language that we're using. Notepad++ has an R plugin. And so I will use Notepad++ from time to time.
I love that you can actually answer that question that I originally created as like the question equivalent of a shit post.
Oh, I know what you're trying to do. I ain't scared.
What are we doing here?
Why is R so popular in data science?
So R was written by mathematicians. So R is primarily written by mathematicians and statisticians for mathematicians and statisticians. And so it's super popular because it's open source. It's, in my opinion, it's really easy to learn, but
big flexibility.
I think it's easier to learn, and most of the reason why I think it's easier to learn is because I came from the world of Excel and SAS versus like a traditional programming language like Java or Python or JavaScript or something like that.
I see.
So, like, I guess what type of like paradigms does it adhere to? Object-oriented, functional. I know very little about R.
It's a function-oriented program. You can do object-oriented program in it. So there's like two layers so there's R3 and R4 in R, and the R3 layer allows you to program in function-oriented.
Mm-hmm.
R3 allows for object-oriented because because you're basically programming on the Fortran backbone of R at that point. So there's a lot of good fun things there.
And there's like a pretty healthy community of packages and things that are available.
Yeah, it probably has one of the largest libraries out there. I mean, I say largest. Large does not mean effective, because sometimes it's more dangerous to have a really good family of libraries than it is to have really good ones. So, for instance, if I wanted to do, say, if I'm trying to set up my samples to where I can test if my model is effective in making predictions, there's about 6 different packages that I can use to do it. And so because it's free to publish some of these libraries, and you can post your own library to GitHub and whatever, you can write a library. The goal of every R programmer, though, is to get to the CRAN library, because if you get to CRAN, it's like validated and viewed and okayed, and everybody agrees to it, and it gets exciting.
So like peer reviewed, they're like vetted because it's looked at as the source of truth. Almost. Yeah.
Oh, you guys, I'm starting to rage on this level. I think you both have passed me, which has nothing to do with my rage level. Just one part. Okay, so why do I can't I just install a data science npm package or NuGet library if I'm doing JavaScript or C#?
I mean,
like
you can.
same functionality as R? Like, why not just do that if it's like, why learn R if I've got
so the beautiful thing about data science and statistics and data analytics is you can use whatever language you want to use. So there is a YouTuber by the name of Code Bullet who, when he started his YouTube channel, he was a JavaScript guy. He built, what he would do is he would build all his tests, if you will, in JavaScript, and then would build out the AI and machine learning methodology in JavaScript, because that's the language you learned. So you can start there, but Python and R are a little bit more tuned to data analytics, and they're more specialized towards that versus JavaScript that might be more tuned towards something else.
Somebody can tell me what JavaScript is tuned towards. I will greatly reward them. I say this as like somebody who programs primarily in JavaScript, but yeah, it's just kind of in the middle of everything, I feel like. So if you don't use, so you use Notepad++ on occasion, it sounds like, but like, what's your tool set look like? Are you in VS Code?
No, I'm typically like, so R has an IDE called RStudio, and that's typically the software that I use.
JetBrains style product, or who makes that?
Say what?
Who makes RStudio?
RStudio does. So RStudio made RStudio. It's an actual company. So there's a community version because R has a history of being open source. So they made a community version that's open source to the community that you can use. And then yeah, I wish it would just like I can jump straight to the finish line. Why won't it let me cheat like that?
There's like goalposts you got to get past.
Oh.
That's the little blue ones, because I've jumped over them, and it doesn't light up even if my player goes through it. So I have to stay on the ground as you hit it.
Oh, I'm so stuck. Oh, good, you're stuck here too, right?
So yeah, the tool for R is RStudio.
Okay, that's cool. What about Python?
Python is pick your favorite text editor style language. You can use Notepad++. R has RStudio allows you to do Python programming. So if you like want a one-stop shop for both R and Python, RStudio is a great place. And then, but yeah, like there are people that like VS Code for Python. Every time I try and do VS Code in R, it just kind of like doesn't feel right. I feel like I'm cheating on RStudio. So.
I promise.
So at one point earlier,
has done it, like made a plugin for it. Go ahead, Carson.
I was gonna say earlier you said Excel was like something that is a big tool that's used by data
Excel
science.
is still a big tool for most data analysts. And the reason why is because it's easy to learn. It's easy to it's easy to learn. It's easy to pick up. It helps you get the basic skills, because a lot of people get sucked into the world of I've got to learn this method and not necessarily the skill. And Excel is really good at helping you learn the skill versus getting stuck on the method.
It strips out the complexity of like learning a programming language in some ways.
So that's how I got my first research job. Was I was a master at Excel, and then we're like, hey, come do this stuff, and that's when I got exposed to SAS, and I was like, oh, SAS is cool. And then I found R, and R is great. From the chat, it looks like, because I'm reading the chat, it looks like Miss Ashley asked a really good question. That she's heard that the transition between R and Python can be challenging. Do you have any tips? So the way that I play this game is learn one really, really well and be dangerous in the other. And the reason why is because everyone wants an R or Python programmer. The two are different. R feels a little bit more scripty versus Python, which you can build, focus a little bit more on objects. But once you figure out once you figure out your own flow, things work. But as for like the transition and really understanding the transition, it's just practice and understand that it's like learning a different language. Be patient with yourself, do a lot of pet projects, and really commit yourself. So it's like if you're trying to transition between R and Python, I would tell you to, in your own pet projects, in your own data analytics, away from work, don't open R. Force yourself to pick up Python, versus if you're learning Python, if you know Python and you're trying to pick up R, just the same thing. Just try and figure it out. But typically, once you learn one and you learn the method of data analytics and the data science, it just becomes code syntax at that point. And learning the packages and how do I build this out and how do I apply this and the logic behind it and all that jazz. So
that's a solid question, actually.
Really good question, because there's a lot of push right now. There's a lot of companies that started out as we just want data analytics and data science, and they would take either or between R and Python, and now they're starting to double down on we want to be a Python shop, we want to be an R shop, and so it's a solid question.
So how much overlap do you have with the engineering team at your company?
So as a data analyst, I am pretty much dependent on the data engineering team, on and good engineering, and so I am in every analyst should know their data engineering team. They should get to know them really well, because the engineering team needs the analyst feedback to say, hey, I need data in this format. I need inputs this way. Can we reconfigure the pipeline like this so I can get this type of data in addition to what we already have? And so there should always be that feedback loop. And so if you're not in contact with your data engineer team, learn to love your data engineer team and whoever else supports your data engineers. So.
And it's like the things you guys working on, are they mostly, oh, hell yeah. Take that.
Nope, definitely not working on hell yeah.
The blue gem is mine. It only took me 11 minutes to get through this painful gauntlet. I definitely didn't cheat and skip parts. So it sounds like it's like more like a data engineering team. Do you guys ever work on things that make it into like the FinThrive product?
No.
Or is it like do you make decisions on the product? Like using
lot of times what we will do as data analysts is, so we do have a product family and we do have a product suite where we publish it for our clients to be able to look at their data, to see how they're doing in various arenas of revenue cycle. And then when we get into it and we start finding solutions, a lot of times they'll say, hey, this would be a really cool thing for us to see in the product. So what we do is we then go to the data engineering team and essentially say, this is what the client would like to see in this product. What do we got to do to make it happen? And so what they do then is they take our analysis and we start to scope it out together. They ask us what our methodology was, what was the meaning behind it. And so a lot of things do go to product if you do it right. And a lot of times in data analytics, the question one client's trying to answer is really the question that almost every client's trying to answer. And so it becomes important to have what we call reproducible research to be able to share it out with everybody that you're working with.
How much of it, like, of the data analysis is like focused on asking the right question?
100% of it. 100% of the data analysis is focused on asking the right question. If I don't care how good your analysis is, if it's the wrong question, you're going to get the wrong result. And then as my father, who helped run a Fortune 200 company, would say, you just cost me a lot of money, and why did you cost me that much money? And so it's a very painful learning lesson when you go in with a analysis that you think is really crisp and clean, and then the client's like, no, this doesn't help me at all. So like 100% of everything I do is dependent upon the right question set.
I think there's a lot to be learned from that as well, with like product exploration, just like engineering and like business in general.
Right.
I'm gonna close the game down because we're here. We've got about 1 minute left. Yeah, I think it's been some good content. I've certainly learned a ton because like most of these questions that we're asking are like pretty genuine. Like I actually know very little about data science. I know it's there. I don't know what companies quite use it for. And like I feel like this has been really helpful and revelatory for me, hopefully for our 2.4 million viewers as well.
2.4 million.
We're big. 100x engineering. As I said that, I never wink when I say things. So on my part. Billy, I've enjoyed closing recently by asking our guests. Yeah, by asking our guests to either A, say something profound, or B, answer a deep or thought-provoking question. Ideally, if you can do both, like that's great.
I will do both. Let's start with something profound. I am a huge Bill and Ted fan, so be excellent to each other and party on, dudes. That is profound and exciting. Be nice to each other and make sure you have fun in your life. So there's your profoundness.
I actually just embroidered a small photograph for our entryway, and it says, "You killed Ted, you medieval dickweed." Yours is more profound than mine, though. Well done. I like that.
There you go.
Question: if I'm a 100x, or if I'm looking to become a 100x engineer, how can knowing about data science help me in that journey?
So I look at data engineering and data science as two sides to the same coin. In data engineering, you're still trying to answer a question. You're still trying to set up the very best product that you can for your clients in a meaningful way. The question to ask is, once I've established it, can my users use it effectively? And your users are your data analysts and your data scientists. So if you are setting up your database and your data streams appropriately to where someone like me can go in and I understand it and it's really easy to use and you're there to ask me questions, you become a 100x engineer, and it allows me to become a 100x analyst.
Oh, I just got chilled. Wow. Did you rehearse that? I didn't even give you that question.
No. I was say, with a plug.
You generated it with that beautiful nerd.
I may. You know what? I tell you what, Carter. We'll start a 100x analyst podcast to be the parallel sister to the 100x engineering.
There you go. Take it up.
Two sides of the same coin.
Make sure that we share the marketing, or we share the marketing glory.
I'm just telling you. See, there's my pitch. There's my JupiterOne pitch.
Yeah, come up with your own crappy games for us to play though. Billy, thank you so much for joining us today, dude. It's been a blast seeing you, and hopefully we'll be chatting with you again here.
100%. Thank you so much, and I'm happy to come back anytime you guys want me to.
Appreciate you, man. Also, you kicked butt at Sonic.
He was very good at Sonic. I think he's practiced.
There was a part of the beginning with the little corkscrew thing you had to go up, and I kept cheating it. You guys passed me, and I almost dang it, almost hit the thing. I was like, just be cool, Carter. You're live. Be chill. Yeah.
It was a pretty robust game, actually.
Yeah, it was surprisingly well made. The net code on it's pretty good. We made it. How would you rank the jankiness of this game? How would you rate it?
I think the error is user error. So I needed a better tutorial, but the actual game itself was pretty well engineered at that.
I would agree. I think jankiness is as much mechanical as it is a vibe. A game could be janky feeling, but it's not actually janking. Shell Shockers feels janky, but it actually plays pretty well. This one doesn't feel janky when you're doing it. It actually it's hard, but it plays pretty well, but it looks janky.
It does look a little janky. It looks like a Nintendo 64.
Oh, it does look like Nintendo 64. Will we ever get Rage Quit, Carter? That is an excellent question, Ashley. I'm trying to decide if I want to give a memeable answer to this or an earnest answer. Carter doesn't really rage quit. I love getting passionate and angry and like into games, but like I never actually am like never actually that invested. I'm as happy to lose as I am to win if it was like a really good loss. Like feels good.
No, playing Smash against you, no way. Come on.
I had my ass
There's
handed
too much
to me
fire
multiple
in there.
times over the weekend at Smash Bros. And I loved it. I love it when someone can beat me at a game that I like think I'm really good at because that just makes me kindles it. But
That one gets people going.
Billy saying in the private chat, yes, I want Rage Quit Carter. He is hilarious. Oh, that's true. Carter is a gracious loser. Thank you, Billy. I'm a gracious loser. You heard it here first, everyone. It's a nice way of saying I'm a loser. So, we forgot to talk about diplomacy. We'll do that next time. I'm going to hide this now. Carson, pop quiz. Do you know when the next episode of 100X Engineering is?
I should.
No, you shouldn't. That's for me to answer. Do your job, Carter. Next episode of 100X Engineering is going to be 3 weeks from now. We've got an off week here. Where did my window go? Where'd you guys go? I assume everyone can still see me somewhere. Are you there? Yes. Okay.
I can see you.
Oh, weird. Yeah, all my windows vanished. It is on the 13th of September. We will be. I'm actually reaching out to a few people on LinkedIn right now, trying to set something up. But yeah, got a few things on the table. It will be interesting, and also stay tuned for our game because I'm really excited about the one that's coming up. I will keep it a surprise because I gotta have the drama for that. Carson, as our subbing co-host, anything you want to say that's profound before we wrap here?
I kind of have a better understanding of what my partner does all day, who is a data scientist, and I'm kind of like know the hot words, and that's about it. So, I mean, it was pretty enlightening and nice to like draw the line between engineering and that.
Yeah, I agree. I thought that was really, really eye-opening. Well, in conclusion, we played a game today. I didn't have my headset on here, but can I do the streamer voice, Carson? Are you okay if I do the streamer voice?
Let's do it.
All right. Yo, this is Hesto2 coming at you with the closing of 100X Engineering here. We got K-Money Sweet here as well joining me today. Thank you so much. Don't forget to smash the like and subscribe button. Carson, I think you got to do it because we're split. So you got to like have my hand reach through right there. Don't forget
I don't know how to do it.
And like and subscribe. Follow us on our Twitter account. We haven't made yet. And we will catch you on the next stream next week. Let's roll the credits. Oh, Carson, have you seen the thing we do with the hands? See that? We go. Tyler's sitting on the gun ready for it. We'll be running the credits right now.